Let's go. Yo. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast. And that's facts.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Shout out to everybody in the building. Welcome back to Coffee with Trax. I'm your host, Trax, and today we're diving into the NFL's head coaching carousel like never before. We've got 6 teams with vacancies, and we're going to dissect each one, predict who they might hire, and explore why these jobs are either dream gigs or nightmares in the making. Strap in. We're going to be here for a while, breaking down every angle, every candidate, and every rumor with the energy of a Super Bowl Sunday. Patriots, that's the premier job. Many think so. But why is this the cream of the crop? The Patriots have the most cap space in the league, which means they can sign big names or keep their own players happy. They have a high draft pick, potentially giving them a shot at many positions with the kind of upside that makes coaches salivate. There's no ownership drama, a stable front office, and a fan base that's hungry for another dynasty. Let's talk about the candidate spotlight, who everybody's talking about who they're going to get. And we already know it's pretty much a done deal at this point, right? He's a former Patriot. That's right, Mike Vrabel. He understands the culture and has proven he can lead a team. His tenure with the Titans showed he could manage both defense and offense effectively. His leadership qualities are exactly what New England fans and management are looking for. The candidate spotlight, though, is Ben Johnson. He's a new kid on the block with a brilliant offensive mind. After what he did with the Lions, turning them into contenders, he's seen the future of offense innovation. But does he want to step into the massive shoes left by Bill Belichick? I'm going with my prediction. I'm going with Mike Vrabel. I think that's where he goes. There's a sense of homecoming, and he's already in sync with the Patriots' ethos. However, if they could convince Ben Johnson that this is his moment to shine on a bigger stage, that could change everything. Let's talk about the Raiders. Oh, man. That's definitely the dark horse, man. Why it's better than you think, though. The Raiders have the second most cap space, which is attractive. They can have a high draft pick, and with Tom Brady as part owner, his influence could be a game changer. They're in a division where they can make noise with the right leadership. Let's talk about the candidate spotlight. For me, it's Ben Johnson. Again, his name pops up. The Raiders have shown they're willing to spend. And with Brady's endorsement, they might just convince Johnson to lead their rival. Here's another candidate spotlight, Pete Carroll. Here's where things get a little spicy. Carroll's name has resurfaced, and the idea of him bringing his championship experience and leadership to Vegas is intriguing. But my prediction is I'm leaning more towards Ben Johnson. The Raiders could throw money at him, and that's with Brady's sway. It's a tempting spotlight. However, if Pete Carroll wants one last dance, this could be his stage. Now let's talk about the Jaguars. This is a sneaky good spot. Why? Because it's under the radar. Trevor Lawrence is still seen as a quarterback with immense potential. The Jaguars have a ton of draft picks to rebuild, and the AFC South isn't a juggernaut division. My candidate spotlight goes to Liam Cohen. He's been impressive with quarterbacks, from Will Levis to Baker Mayfield. His ability to develop QBs could be the key to unlock Lawrence's full potential. Another candidate spotlight for me is Ben Johnson. If he doesn't land with the Patriots or the Raiders, the Jaguars offer a chance to build from the ground up with a young QB. But I'm predicting Liam Cohen. His quarterback whisperer status matches well with the Jaguars' needs. If they can make Lawrence look like the number one pick he was, this team could turn around fast. Here's my wild card. Our Chicago Bears, baby. Why is it a mixed bag, though? The Bears have cap space. We got plenty of cap space. We're probably going to have even more than what's on the records when we, get rid of some bums that were picked up. They also have high draft picks, and they have Caleb Williams, who's both a blessing and a challenge due to his unique play style. There's uncertainty with the front office, though, with Kevin Warren pulling strings behind the scenes. My candidate spotlight, though, it goes to Ben Johnson. If he's looking for a challenge, the Bears offer him one. But the offensive line and the need for immediate success might be deterrence. That's a lot of pressure, by the way. I mean, I know it sounds simple, but if you really think about it, there are some teams out there that are a lot less pressure, okay? I mean, I don't know how you guys walk into work, but somebody right when you open the door, they start talking about lineups and what's going on for the day. I'm like, whoa, 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 back down. Let me get caffeinated, okay? And not talk about work so much, And if I'm coming off a Bears loss, I really don't want to talk about that right away either, But I love talking about it with you guys. You guys know what I mean. Like, it's just one of those situations where you look at things like the heat is on right when you walk in the building with the Bears. Like, we need to win. I mean, the bar's set low, but we all know what the expectations are. And if they're not met, like, it's building. So that's something that we need to address and look at, right? Here is a candidate spotlight, though. Cliff Kingsbury. I know you guys are not a lot excited about this, and it's probably not going to go too well when I float it out there, but it's definitely something to look at, man. His experience with mobile quarterbacks and his stints with Caleb Williams at USC could make this a fit. Now, let's know, and I know, let's put this out on record. Like, there's more than one person on the damn team. I get that, okay? I'm just saying, here are some of the highlights. Here's my prediction, though. Given the complexities, I'm throwing my hat in for okay. I really want Ben Johnson. I'd like Pete Carroll first and foremost, but I'm also leaning towards Ben Johnson. As long as he puts in, a good defensive coordinator and all of that, and he shows that he has a staff ready to go. And I don't want just a hodgepodge, I want some really good, picks. I don't know where that's going to be, like who he's going to pick, because he hasn't been around long enough to get, enough guys. Like, is this just going to be Detroit 2.0? I don't necessarily mind that, but I would like to see a few wrinkles in there, a little bit more depth outside of Detroit, if you know what I'm saying. Because at the end of the day, we'll know more about Detroit, and they'll know more about us. So I'd like some wrinkles and some different, variety of staff in there, if you know what I'm saying. But also guys that would like to work with. But I out of those two, I like Aaron Glenn also, man. I see, he played with the Saints. A lot of people forget about that. Guy's only 52 years old. And, I mean, in coaching years, that's young. In terms of like, and you look at a guy that I want like Pete Carroll, who's, 72, 73, but I think his energy matches Aaron Glenn, to be honest with you, at his age. But Cliff Kingsbury could be a dark horse, man. His familiarity with Williams could be the deciding factor. Yeah, it's a mixed bag for me, man. I do not know. Let me know in the comments. What do you guys think? I'm still up in the air. I'm just as, hopefully we can get some more, content, and we get some more information, some feedback as to what's going on with these coaches. I have no idea. Ron Rivera is a nice one to look at too. There's a lot of good coaches out there, guys. Let's move on though, man. Let's move on. Let's talk about the Jets. The pressure to win now. They want to win now, man. Why is it appealing? The Jets have a talented roster that's quarterback away from being a contender. Now, I'm just saying, if Rodgers is gone, they're going to need a quarterback, right? Maybe even with Rodgers there, they still need a quarterback. I don't know. Is Rodgers still, Rodgering? Their defense is loaded. I love their defense, and they have young stars like Garrett Wilson. My candidate spotlight for them though is Aaron Glenn. I could also see him going to the Saints though, back to the Saints because he coached there, he played there, Super Bowl, all that good stuff. But yeah, my spotlight for the Jets is Glenn. His time with the Lions showed he can lead a defense and manage a team. Plus, he has a history with the Jets, which could play into his decision. You know what I mean? Here's another candidate that's worth looking at, and I have to put a little caution tag to them because we have some familiarity with this guy, and that's Matt Nagy. Oh my God. If Andy Reid didn't make Nagy look bad or good, if Andy Reid didn't make Nagy look good, I don't know who could. And man, I still don't see how the hell he has a job. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense, and that's something that I may never know. Maybe you guys know and you could help me out. I'm going to move on from that, okay? But after leaning from the best with the Chiefs, learning. After learning best from the best with the Chiefs, he might be ready for a redemption arc in New York. But I'm betting on Glenn for sure. His leadership, his defensive acumen could be what the Jets need to elevate their game. Now, here's the challenging one out of all of them, guys. The Saints. They are in freaking cap hell, guys. They are in cap hell, and they're stuck with Derek Carr, who hasn't lived up to his expectations. Now, I like Derek Carr, dude. Fresno State, why not? Devontae Adams, beast. I liked them two at Fresno State. Together, they did really good. With the Raiders, not so much. I don't know if that was just situation going on over there. Help me out in the comments below. What do you guys think? But he hasn't lived up to his expectations with the Saints, guys. They need a rebuild, but are trying to win now, which is a tough balance. My candidate for that is Aaron Glenn, man. If he doesn't go to the Jets, his past with the Saints makes him an appealing choice for continuity. But my candidate spotlight for you guys is Joe Brady. He's had success with young quarterbacks and could find or develop the Saints' next QB. But I'm definitely going with Joe Brady here. His experience with the Saints and his knack for quarterback development might just be what they need. Let's just do a little quick deep dive. You guys hang out for a little bit. At the end, we're going to get to your questions and comments, everything. Thank you guys so much for joining. Coffee with Tracks. Make sure you hit a like. And if you're new to the show, hit that subscribe button. We appreciate your review. We really do, man. Thank you guys so much. You guys are awesome. Win the day, guys. Love you guys. So let's get into some coaching philosophies. Offensive innovators versus defensive minds. We've seen teams lean towards offensive coaches for the creativity in today's NFL, right? Hold on one second. I'm going to get caffeinated. But there's still a place for strong defensive leaders who can manage a game. It's a yin and the yang. If you need an offense in today's NFL, you also need a defense. If you need a passing game, you need a running game. There's weaknesses in everything. Okay? There's weaknesses in everything. Like for me, being high energy means I don't sleep much. And that's why I'm up here doing Coffee with Tracks, and I do tracks after dark because, literally, I think people still, I don't know if you guys do, are still, if you can't sleep and you have insomnia or something and you're in the middle of the night or like a, shift, late shift guy, are people still watching those infomercials and stuff in the middle of the night? I don't think there's a big need for, shows in the middle of the night. But like I said, there's a yin and a yang for everything. Okay. And I think that there's still a need for a defensive mind head coach in the NFL. Let me know what you guys think. Put it in the comments below. Appreciate you guys. And you know what? not only one that has a defensive mind, but one can manage the game. Make no mistake about it. Whether you're offensive minded or defensive minded, you still got to manage the damn game, right? So the impact of the QB development, the impact of the QB development is very important. With so many teams needing quarterback help, the ability to coach and develop a QB is more crucial than ever. We've already heard it. Tom Brady has talked about it on record, saying rushing these guys in where they can't sit back and wait a year is really messing up the freaking NFL. It's unbelievable. Are you guys freaking kidding me? Like, they just let these guys come in and they come in and they play. It's just watering things down. You look at all these teams right now, every single one of these freaking teams, with the exception of the Jets, I would say, or that are in need of head coaches, have problems with the QB. Make it make sense. I'm telling you right now, what Tom Brady's saying makes a lot of sense. Let a quarterback sit back for a year. Look at those QBs that have done that. It's been great, but it's so like money driven right now that they have to save money somewhere. And who makes the most money? It's the freaking quarterback. So what do? They throw him in there and it just waters down the freaking talent in the NFL. It makes the game like worse. Seriously, you need to sit back for a year, get groomed, watch a quarterback play, watch the whole thing, get in there in the film, look and see what looks good, what doesn't, what you could do what in that situation. If a quarterback goes down, you go in for a few games, come back out, sit on the bench again. Next year, reevaluate. Is it your time? Let's see what happens. If not, sit on the bench again for another year. I don't know what to tell you. Figure it out. Manage your money better. That's calling the kettle black coming from me. So, like I said, the ability to coach and develop a QB is ever more crucial. But let's get into something else. Leadership and culture. Oh my gosh, guys. How about leadership and culture? Can I get a hey, amen and pass the ammunition? In freaking Chicago, those are two things that are crucial right now. Leadership and culture. We are freaking in trouble, guys. Each team has a different need for culture change or reinforcement. All six of them. If they didn't, the head coach would be there already and would stay there. You know, who can lead men, not just coach football? I'm talking about, you can go in there, grab a whistle, and coach football. But being a leader of men is, I know a lot of people don't want to hear about it, but listen, pay attention. Think about it. It's important. It's not about just coaching football. It's being a leader of men, you know? And I want to tell you guys something. To me, it's all about, I look at a guy like Clemson, their head coach, and I love that guy. He said if we raise these kids, if we raise these students to be good football players, and that's it, we failed. He said we want to. I can't think of the exact quote, and I'm not doing too well right now with it, but basically in terms of like raising them to be men. That's what he looks to do, Debo. He looks to, whether you like him or not, he's a good, solid dude, man. He likes to make these guys and help them and groom them into men before he does a football player. They already come to you as a football player. I mean, they're already football players. You can help them get better as a football player, but it's important, to do that. And I think it lasts longer. And I think there's genuineness in there and all of that stuff. And you're going to see a lot more of the fabric of the person out of that than if you're just looking at them as a piece, as just a football player or whatever, and that keeps them on track. I think it's important. So let me know in the comments below if you believe in any of that, or if you just want to watch football and just win. I'm just saying that is probably a systemic problem in the NFL right now, and why there's such a quick, huge turnaround. Look at it this way, guys. Look at it this way. The NFL has already spent over $800 million on head coaches and GMs being swapped out. They don't get to hang out long enough. They make a quick decision without having somebody that has some NFL background, that has some NFL smarts, that hasn't had boots on the ground, worked their way up from a blue collar into a white collar, you know. And I think that's part of the problem too. You're having people that don't understand football make football decisions and go out and get football GMs and football, head coaches and all that stuff. And you got to give them time to develop. And I'm at fault for that. I wanted I wanted Ryan Poles gone. I'm so frustrated. I'm so upset. All these guys that I was led to believe, I was told to believe, including assistant coaches, coordinators, all that kind of stuff, like they just end up not doing well here. And I was just so frustrated, and I will admit I didn't give him the time that he needs. It's a 5-year deal. You come in, you're cap strapped. You have a bunch of aging all-stars like Robert Quinn, who right now is in trouble with the law, and you saw what happened there, right? So I'm just saying, you look at that kind of stuff. I mean, it is troubling. The kind of things that you have to come in and just kind of like clear everything out. You have to wager player value, player depth, and turn it into cap space and go out and draft, right? And it was a lot, and it takes time, and even like this year, there was 4 or 24. There was 4 draft picks. What are you gonna do with 4 draft picks? You can't do much, okay? So that year's pretty much a freaking wash. And the first 2 years is just pretty much clearing out cap space, plug and playing guys where you can afford. First year was pretty much a wash. Anyways, rant about that is, as much as I would like to see another guy come in here as a GM, I'm not saying it's going to be any better. And honestly, Pole's hands were tied as to who he was going to get as far as a head coach. He had 3 choices. Think of it that way. Think of it like a marriage or something, guys. You got 3 contestants, and they're picked for you. It's an arranged marriage. You got 3 to pick. Most arranged marriages are just 1, and it's a done deal. But he actually got 3 here. Did he pick the wrong one? Yes. Did we know that he picked the wrong one? Maybe not. I really didn't pay a whole lot of attention to the Colts. They weren't really on my radar. Caldwell was interesting. I didn't say that he was right, but he would have been interesting to look at only because of the acumen that he came from and just that whole culture and all that when they were good. It's been a while since they were good. And really, honestly, anybody that says Dan Quinn was on their radar, there might be a few people, but I don't think there's nearly as much as there are now after they see what he did in Washington. In hindsight, like my boy D-Nice said, is 2020. We all know that, right? It's 2020. So we can look at the smartest guy in the building, the sharpest tool in the shed, the colorfulest crayon in the box. But I mean, honestly, we probably didn't know that he was going to be as good as he is now in Washington. And by all, what I mean by that is that culture was in a huge, huge uproar when Ron Rivera was there. Oh my God. He was the only guy left to he was going down with that ship. He was going down with the Titanic, man. They switched over from the Redskins to the, Commanders, all that kind of stuff, got rid of the GM. Like, he was like the only dude left, battled cancer, all that stuff, craziness. So got to give guys more time, man. It's not just about football, So let's get into questions, guys. Who do you think best fits each team? Can Ben Johnson handle the pressure of a big market like Chicago or New England where it's a win now? Is there a sleeper candidate out there who could shake up these predictions? Who might be a sleeper candidate that could shake up these predictions that I laid out for you? What role do you guys think past connections play in the hiring decisions? Like the past connections of each team and each, person in the upper, food chain, in the management. Do you think that plays a role? These connections. I mean, why wouldn't you want to hire somebody that you get along with, that somebody that you know has a good vision, that you already have some familiarity with? I mean, people get upset and they frown upon that, but that's almost like an interview in itself before the interview even hits. Like, you already know what's going on. You've already know their resume. You've been around them. It's not just a paper and a suit and tie coming at you on a Zoom meeting. It's actually, you've actually seen them in real freaking life, and you've been an experience around them. I think that there is a big uh, connection there in these hiring decisions for sure. But that's one of my questions for you. And how important is it for these teams to get their coaching hires right this time around? I mean, seriously, look at it this way: the Bears, we desperately need to get it right. But I mean, look at the Patriots, 3 coaches. I mean, they've got to nail it, right? I mean, it looks bad, right? And the Raiders, they definitely got to get something together. Each team that we spelled out, the Jets, all these teams, the Saints, you look at back when they had a really good coach, and the difference between then and now, it's insane, and everybody wants one now, right? So do you think any of these teams might take a risk on a less proven coach for a fresh start? And then finally, man, here's my call to action. Let's engage in the comments. I want to hear from you. I want to hear your hot takes, your predictions, and your thoughts on these potential hires. Should we be looking at someone else entirely? Make sure you guys like and subscribe. If you love this kind of in-depth NFL chat, make sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and hit that notification bell for more content like this. And if you know someone who's as passionate about NFL coaching changes as we are, share this video with them. And thank you guys for joining me on this marathon session of NFL coaching predictions. This offseason is going to be wild. And here at Coffee with Tracks, we're here to keep you caffeinated with all of the latest and greatest in Chicago sports and beyond. So let's see what you guys got in the comments, man. Squeegee says, which of the guys, which coaches? We laid it out. I'm sure he's seen that by now. That's a little bit behind. So what's up, Squeegee? Squeegee says bear down, tracks everyone. D Nice, Darius Lockhart says bear down, tracks. Ray Yanez. Hey, I just want to tell you guys something before I read Yanez's comment. Basically, like, we're going to get into like the top rookies in the NFL. I'm going to do a show later. So if a co-host is going to jump on with me or not, I don't know. But I'm going to do something, later on in the day, maybe even before lunch or something, a few hours or something at night. Maybe I'll save the night one for any breaking news later on. So we potentially going to do like 3 shows today. So make sure you guys circle back. But let's get back on track with tracks on this one. So Ray Giannis says, good morning, my friend, and everyone. Bear down. Packers suck big time. FGB all day. Claw up. Let's go. Claw up, baby. Yes, claw up. And let's get caffeinated up together. Love you guys. You guys are great. Listen, the Bears aren't freaking playing today, but we are, right? We're playing today. We're playing 365 days out of the year, baby. We're praying that every year is a freaking leap year so we can get an extra one out of it because we're freaking passionate. We love our freaking Chicago Bears, baby. Love you guys, man. You guys are the best. Wouldn't trade you for nobody. Hope you guys won't trade me for. So, Squeegee said, last I heard, Vrabel and New England are close to a deal. Yeah, I saw that too, Squeegee. I think that's a done deal, man. So that's unfortunate too. I was really looking at him. I had actually carved out a spot in the show, but I had to edit it because of that. You know what I mean? So a lot of writing here, buddy. A lot of writing here. Them Raiders are sneaky, my friend. They do. They are real sneaky for sure, Ray. Trolls matter too. Same issues in Hawaii and California. What's next? Chicago or New York? What? What does that mean? Same issues in Hawaii and California. What's next? Chicago or New York? I don't know what you're saying, Trolls Matter. Please elaborate, buddy. Anyways, uh, Ray says, let's hope Ben Johnson goes to the Bears. That would be awesome, my friend. Bear down. Packers suck big time. FGB all day. I hope Seattle Seahawks beat the Packers. Yay. Absolutely. That'd be great. Is Tom Tomlinson available for coach? He would be my second pick. He is a good coach, my friend. Well, you know what? You brought up about Tom Tomlinson twice now in a previous show, and this one maybe more, but that's something to look at. What else do you guys think about Tom Tomlinson? Is there anybody else that's interested in that? Well, put that in the comments below, guys. Ray's brought that up. I really haven't gave it much thought. I've just been kind of going off of the ones that we're connected to and that's on the list, you know. Squeegee says if Ben Johnson doesn't come to the Bears and Vrabel is in New England, I'd like to see Rivera come back to Chicago. I would too. And you know what? I wouldn't be mad if it didn't work out. I'd like to see it work out. I hope it works out. I mean, he's got a darn near 500, you know, and at times in his coaching career, he had a better record than 500, but at least he's 500. Right now, I think if we had a coach in here, and I'm not sure if those rosters were as good or he was as passionate. I know he's a passionate guy. I'm not saying that he coached down or didn't give it his all, but when you come back to your alma mater, dude, when you come back to your grassroots, when you come back to the Beardom, you know, and all of that, where he won the 85 Super Bowl, where he's freaking invincible. And like he is part of this great prestige that he created. Could you imagine like the storyline and what it would be like for his homecoming? Like there's a lot of other options out there that wouldn't be as exciting as this. And I think this would be as exciting. Well, I agree with Squeegee. We are definitely looking at Ben Johnson. We are looking at Vrabel, you know. Pete Carroll's out there. There's a couple others, but outside of that top 4, top 5, man, you got to look at Rivera. He's definitely in the top 6 for sure for me, you know. He might even start to, depending on how fast these coaches get, you know, moved. We'll see. Good point, Squeegee. Shout out to you, buddy. Make sure you check him on BCP, man. He's on the show with what do you call it? Dan. But he's also called Shorty too. That's why I always like stumble in between the two, you know, just like I'm Brandon Trax Hyatt. So Leonidas, I don't understand why Tomlin is looked upon as this football god. I don't think anyone's called him a football god. I think that's a little conjecture, but I think I know where you're going with this. He hasn't done anything since Big Ben retired. He won't do anything here with our current roster. Listen, buddy, I don't understand where this like bitterness or negative energy is for Tomlinson, but he's had a winning record every year, man. And all of the players like him. I mean, he's definitely can win. And I don't understand where like my Chicago Bear, you know, the followers of the Chicago Bears, the fellow fans is what I was trying to say. The fellow fans, some of them are like, you know, scoffing at a higher, like we really have what are we, you know, we're being picky now. Like we're being like seriously, look at what we've had. Come on, man. He's a way better fit than a lot of the coaches that we had, brother. You know what I'm trying to say? Like he's definitely a leader of men. He's definitely more than just a leader of football. Like he's a good dude, man. He would go all the way up to number 1 in my book. We can agree to disagree, Leonidas. Still love you, bro. I love your you know, your passion right there. So but yeah. All right. Ray says, I also like Lovie Smith. Good coach. What do you guys think? What do you think, my friend? Let me know. Thanks. Bear down. Yeah, I like Lovie. I'm always welcoming Lovie. Seen him and met him, you know, over in Canton, Ohio. Great dude. Great demeanor. You could tell. I don't know if he's on a new chapter in his life or he wouldn't mind circling back, but he looks healthy. He looks good. Yeah, I think, well, how old is he? He's definitely early 60s, maybe late 50s. I don't know. Heck, yeah, Lovey. That'd be cool for sure. Leonidas said, Leonidas says Rivera can be the DC. Don't want him as a head coach. Okay. Well, hey, at least he'd be in the building, but he might be in the building as a head coach. I think that's what he's going for. But if nobody picks him up, and as long as the future head coach of the Chicago Bears uh, would like him, right, as a defensive coordinator, that works out. But we don't want to arrange marriage and cherry pick who we want and force that upon the new head coach. We want full anonymity and let him pick who he wants, whether it be our guy or not. Whether it be Salah or somebody else, let him pick who he wants. But I agree, he would be. Hey, man, I just want him in the building, dude. I think he's great. I think he's a great human being for sure. So Squeegee, even if we hire Ben Johnson, I'd like to see Rivera or Flores come in and run the defense. I would too. That's a great idea, Squeegee. Like we just mentioned, Rivera and then Flores too. Both really good. Leonidas touching agrees is right there. Marudal. What's up, Marudal? Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Appreciate you. Ray says Bears need a running game like they used to. Yeah, I agree. They definitely need a running game. It's important. It's crucial. It's going to take the pressure off of Caleb and our offense and the new coaches for sure. Get that run game going. Get a new line. Get some running backs. We need more than just Swifty. Let's get some running backs in there. Let's draft some running backs. Let's see who's available in free agency. But I'm telling you right now, gentlemen and ladies, if we get a line, if we solidify and make our line better, it's going to make everybody's job easier. It's going to make coaches. It's going to make the scheme easier. It's really hard to scheme when you don't have no time. Thomas Brown even said it best. Thomas Brown said, right now where they're at on the line, Caleb doesn't really have that opportunity or privilege to call anything outside of where they're at the line of scrimmage. There's a reason why a lot of those plays are short dink and dunk passes. There's not much time. And then when they do draw something up and he's like running around, like it's total dysfunction. So yeah, we need to address the line that'll help the running game out. We definitely need to, like, I agree with what you just said, Ray. We need a running game. All right, Squeegee, let's bring in some personality on the coaching staff like we had in the 85 Bears. Yeah, damn right. Bro, oh, man, I love that. That is so good. And that's not just a coach. That's just not coaching football. That's a leader of men. Those guys were leader of men. Good quality guys that, I mean, as much as I love Lovey, he did not touch what they had. I love Lovey, and I'm not throwing anything against them, but them coaches in 85, oh my goodness, legendary. But let's bring some back, whether it be from 06, let's bring some back, whether it be from 85. And you know what? They passed on Harbaugh, but now you got Rivera. Are we going to pass on him too? Is that something that we're going to look at and say, man, we just passed on two former, Bears? What are we going to do? Something to be, things that make you go, Amp says, bear down, Amp. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Love you. Thank you for coming back. Leonidas says, no, because you don't get better without playing in real game time reps. I agree. You have to play in real time reps. Listen, all the people, and there wasn't much that said that we should have set Caleb and this and that and blah, blah, blah. He got better during those reps. The whole team got better. Any of those guys, and you get to see, like, did they quit on me at the end of the season when it didn't matter? Did they quit on our team and our, all those, season ticket holders and ticket holders that are bringing their family and they're playing against the Packers? New year, new me. Let's go do this. Let's get some good vibes going. This is a brand new year. Let's see what my Chicago Bears could do. And then all of a sudden just rest people. I mean, out of the same mouth, we're complaining about how the NBA rests players. And those same, fans don't get to see their favorite player, And it shows up even more. It's a lot more evident because there's a lot less players on an NBA team. You know what I'm saying? So when a guy like LeBron or somebody is resting because he needs a day off because of his fatigue and he wants to extend and go the distance, it shows up a lot more. And that's probably a loss. And, maybe we should look at, is the NBA too long? Is hockey too long? Is Major League Baseball too long? Let's not mess everything up. Let's keep everything the way it is. You keep changing the fabric of all of these things, like it can really, mess up, and the history books will be rewritten. I mean, it's ridiculous. Let's make sure that we play through the whistle. All games, never give up, all gas, no brakes. Never back down, never give up. Ray says, would you like Ben Johnson and the Commanders offensive coach to the Bears? What do you think about this? Let me know. You know what? Man, I'll tell you what. If we were to get the offensive coach, that would be interesting. I mean, you'd have to pay him more. And you'd also have to get, wouldn't you have to get, if it's a lateral move, you have to get permission from that team. I don't think they get rid of the offensive head coach. I think you have to promote him, maybe assistant head coach, but also offensive coordinator. If you did that and paid him more, then you could work it out. I think so. Develop is a buzzword. Develop is a word. It's in the dictionary. It's used. It's important, and it's real. So is buzzword. Buzzword's a word. Tomato. Alabama coach is also good. Yeah, I like him. Squeegee says, we need a team of leaders to win. We need a coach that develops leaders. Oh, I love that. We need talented players to win. Leader of men, just more buzzwords, nonsense. Talented is a buzzword too. I mean, we can agree to disagree, pal, but hey, listen, everybody has their own opinion. Please don't throw shade on people in here that like what they like or see what they see. We're all different people. Everybody's got their opinion. Let it be. And two things can be right at the same time. We also need, leaders of men can actually help talent play more talented. Come on, man. It's a safe space here. Be cool, dude. It's first thing in the morning. There's no secret to winning football. Play as a team. Yep, I agree, man. Leonidas says, Poles had an arranged marriage for real, coach, but to me, the draft picks he's given is enough for him to get fired. Our O line being as bad as it is. I mean, listen, even the players are not playing as good as they could. And honestly, he doesn't know what they're going to do when they get in the building. You have so much data. You have so much time to see these guys. You have people that are going out and, looking at all the stats, all of that, going to games, looking at tape, all this stuff. You have guys in place. Poles doesn't have enough time in the day to take care of every freaking thing. He has people that are doing it for him. Should he revisit and maybe change some of that? Is he thinking that, man, maybe I need some different scouts, change my staff up a little bit? But like I said, year 3, that's an opinion of yours, and I respect it. So I've been there too, bro. I'm telling you right now, I have been there too. I understand your frustration. I understand your pain. I get it. Ray says, keep up the good work, my friend. Love the live show. Appreciate you too, man. I appreciate you guys coming up here. Appreciate the live back and forth, man. This is where, like, you look at a 4-letter network like ESPN, not that I'm bashing on ESPN. It's got its own place. I watch some of it. Okay, I'm not going to lie. But you don't get that close, intimate connection, like you do with these shows where we as fans, this show is created by fans for fans. I'm nobody special, you know. I'm just a fan, just like you are, So And a lot of those people that are on ESPN aren't any more special than you and me. Listen, there's a place in football for fans, just like there's a place for players. And a lot of people like myself have played the game at a high level or at a medium level. It all depends on how you look at it, okay? But at the end of the day, man, we're having a good time in here. We get to hear your guys' thoughts. Your voice is heard here. We talk about it, okay? And it's only going to get better. The community as strong as you are. You make the community, okay? And I appreciate you guys in the community. You guys are awesome. You guys rock. Let's let it rip in 2025, man. Let's make this the best year we've had yet. Poles has hit more on his draft than any Bears GM in my lifetime. Plus, he did not have a first round his first year because of Pace trading him. Hey, that's a good point. That is a very valid point. He did not get a first round draft pick his first year. It was traded away. I understand your frustration, Amp. Makes plenty of sense to me. I get it. Some things are overlooked, for sure. Amp, how we are worse as a team now than ever, specifically O line. Listen, I get it. The trenches need to be looked at. They need a change. There needs to be a change in O line. You didn't understand. I mean, we didn't understand that Nate Davis was going to come in and just be a flop. Okay. I mean, all the intangibles, what he had, what was on the market, it was a pick. It didn't work out. You can lead a horse to water. You can't make a guy play. He checked out. He looked like, something. Tevin too. If Tevin was a lot more available, all that stuff, being said, like there's some things that just don't work out, man. There's some parts in my life where, I was going through something, whether it be an injury or sick, all these kinds of things. And if you look at me through that lens and say, this guy wasn't what we thought he was, it's just a season or something that you're going through. You know what I mean? So, but unfortunately, a lot of that has happened under his watch. But there's only so many things you can control. And I'm not making excuses for him. I'm just saying, let's give him the 5 years that he needs. Like I just spelled it out for you. This is happening all over the NFL. And us as fans and podcasters and, network people, we all have played a part in this, like just in this fast food society. Like, it's not Burger King. You can't have it your way right away. You can't just dial it up and say, win now, baby. Let's throw all these pieces together. Let's win now, right now. It does not work like that. The 85 Bears weren't like that. Remember when we had Doug Plank on and he was talking about all the discord and how horrible those games were and all this and that. And it took a long time for them to get there. Okay? So that's my point, man. I mean, you can't have it your way right away. It's not this fast food microwave society. You need to be patient, man. And I'm very impatient. I'm speaking from the same mouth. I'm arguing against things of my own struggles. Listen, I'm telling you right now, very impatient person. So I'm practice what I preach. It's hard to do sometimes, man, but I get it. We want to win, and we can. There's a lot of games where if we had the right leaders of men, if we had players playing better, a lot of those games were winnable. I understand, brother. Ray says they need to come up with a plan for Williams and what works and what doesn't work. What is his weakness and strength? That's how you coach, how you choose the Bears coach. A coach with a proven record, my friend, 100. Can someone help me understand how the YouTuber Adam Mason knows more about O-line than Poles does? I'm not even an Adam Mason fan. Listen, Adam's been on our show. He's a great dude. He's really nice. He's always, kind. He does really good work with the videos and stuff. I think he's a good talent. I wish I could edit videos like he could and provide, some videos and all that kind of stuff with you guys. It's something that I really need to carve out and spend some time doing. I would love to do that for you guys. I think Adam is a good talent for sure. It's a lot easier in. I'm just gonna speak from my own personal, space, and this is kind of like the Monday morning, quarterback. It's a lot easier to judge from. And I was talking to one of my co-hosts last night, who was the first time he was on in a studio podcast last night when we did a show. We said it's a lot easier doing it in here than it is live and in person in front of people, and that's only a few hundred people. Think about tens of thousands and all of that, and trying to stay focused. What happens at a golf game? When people are playing golf at a golf match, they get quiet, right? They get that opportunity. Same thing with baseball, like there's a reason why, you know, quiet helps. And so Adam and myself and other podcasters, we get the privilege and opportunity to do it in a confined, closed space without all the outside distractions. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's where I think it's a lot easier to look in the rear view and see what has happened than, and we're not really looking at talent and saying we're good, judges of talent. I mean, it's easier to see who the better talent is after the talent's already been brought into each building, and everything changes. The guy right next to you might be the guy that unlocks your greatness, that makes your talent, you be more talented. I've had a linebacker show me more about what I'm doing wrong as an offensive lineman than my own coach. He said, "Hey, you're doing too much of this. You're showing too much of your body. You're leaning. You're giving things away. You need to look the same in pass block as you are run block. Don't give anything to me, because I will know exactly what you're doing, and I can tell where the play is going. Only you know where the play is going. I don't. Defense has to read and react." I learned a lot from that guy. So I'm just telling you, there's certain people on that team. If you're on the other team, that might not be unlocked, and you might not play as great, and you might not be as talented, So just my take on things. All right. Poles drafted a right tackle who is already top 5 right tackle in only his second year, and average left tackle in 5th round, which is a great pick. I'm not disagreeing with that. I think a guard right next to him would definitely help him out. I agree with you. I definitely agree with our left tackle being a lot better than he gets credit for. Definitely see our right tackle being solid. The average, pass rush rate given in the NFL is 25 to 30, and you're looking at Darnell Wright as 4.8. That's literally legit, like 25% less. It's crazy. It's bananas. Am says, Poles drafted a right tackle. Oh, I already read that. Sorry. Shout out to him getting two reads. Leonidas says Amp Poles drafted. I think he meant Poles. See, human error. We all make mistakes. Drafted a right tackle that has dramatically declined this year. Who's that? No one calls him top anything. Braxton Jones is horrific. No, I'm not finishing this. Like, are you serious? Go look at him. He's one of the best in the NFL. Are you serious, Leonidas? Appreciate your comment, though. Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing, Squeegee. I'm looking for some positivity. Like, Leonidas is really negative this morning, man. You're killing the buzz, bud. Where's that vibe going, man? What are you doing here? Be better. All right, Laz. What up, Laz? Appreciate you. Thanks for you and your pooch making the show, buddy. Laz is not a fan of polls either. Oh, I'm staying out of politics. No politics here for me in this. This is Chicago sports. Okay. Uh, so Squeegee, he's basically saying Leonidas doesn't want to lie. That's his opinion. He has a right to it, whether it be right or wrong. That's it. So, um, Amp says Leonidas, well, that might be your opinion, but that's not the opinion of people who understand a line. They say what I just told you. Um, all right, back and forth. All right, Squeegee, the Bears are on the rise. Get with the program. They definitely are on the rise, man. I'm so excited. It's great, isn't it? Uh, Amp says Larry Bourne led the team in sacks with 1/3 the snaps. Backup O line was the biggest issue, and the amount of injuries really hurt. I agree. Every lineman, defense and offensive side, that's what I liked about Eberflus on the defensive side. It was like by committee. So you get a rest, you get a breather, like third third down and all this and that. Guy comes in, whatever. It's nice, fresh legs. You're not all wore out and stuff. It's good, man. And you don't have that. Like there was like I saw a stat when I was up at the casino with Jim Miller when we did the show. Shout out to Wind Creek. Thanks for bringing us in, and shout out to all you guys for coming in, man. There was a lot of butts in the seats. It was cool, but we were jumping up out of the seats too because the Bears were freaking giving us a game of freaking 2025. It was awesome to start out the year that way. But yeah, we were talking about all that. So lost my train of thought. Sorry. A lot of energy there. A lot of emotion. I'm very excited about this year ahead. So let's try to stay positive, guys. Uh, Oh, I know what I was going with. That is that that you've had the most changes for the offensive line in the NFL. So many line changes has been crazy. No other team in the NFL has had that many changes due to injuries, due to instability, due to trying to check stuff out. Listen, I think even for a offensive line coach, just swapping out and having a new offensive line coach, and that's not named Chris Morgan, will be make let's get Olin Kreutz in the building. Let's make him offensive line coach and assistant head coach or something, so we could pay him more because they were on the cheap when we had him interviewed last year, or is it 2 years ago? I keep saying last year, but I feel like it's already been over a year, where he came in the building and interviewed with us in at Bridges Scoreboard, your Northwest Indiana Chicago sports headquarters, the Hall of Fame menu and the coldest beer in Chicagoland. He was up there when he was pounding on the table and my freaking computer was jumping up and down because he's animated, he's excited, and he gets it. But he said that they freaking offered him like 15 or 16 bucks an hour to be an offensive line consultant. I'm like, that is just a slap in the face, and that's where we're at. These are the problems that we have. And I'm supposedly the McCaskies are hands off now, and they're letting Kevin Warren, Ryan Poles, football guys who at least have been through football and have football background make the decision. So we'll see now, finally hands off, if they can get it right instead of having some consultant quack come in and hire his buddies from Indianapolis Colts. That's my take. That's my opinion. So, anyways, yeah, this all right. All right. Food and travel reviews. Tomlin is a top 5 coach and probably will be in the hall at the end. I agree, food and travel reviews. Make sure you guys all follow food and travel reviews. Really like that picture you got there, the Air Jordan. That's cool, man. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I appreciate all our recent followers and listeners. Yep, hit that notification bell so you guys can get all the latest Chicago sports content. Casey Kasem says, been hearing a lot about Rivera. I don't hate it. Yeah, man. I don't hate it either, Casey. I really don't. I think it'd be nice. Constant criticism isn't improving this team either. I get it. Yeah. James Childress, sorry for being late. I would like a coach that would run the ball first, then go to the air. I agree, man. The run sets up the pass, right, James? Let's pound them. Let's pound them into submission with the run. And then when they're wore out, start passing. They will get a running game when the O-line is fixed. I agree. So Flores is going to leave Minnesota, DC, to be the Bears DC. It doesn't work that way. So this is the way that it works, Laz. I understand you're telling us the way that it works, but I'm going to tell you another way it works. At times when you need a guy to come in and be the same position, you give him like a title like assistant head coach. And that's the way that you can bring them in, and they still are an offensive coordinator plus their assistant head coach. So that is the only way that works, and you pay them more money. And, if they want to be in Chicago, they want to be in Chicago. If you pay them more money and they get a promotion, that looks good and that helps, fill and round them out, then they would make that. But it's essentially a lateral move with better pay and another title, but you give them a little bit more, and that looks good on a resume, because at the end of the day, all these guys eventually want to be head coaches. So that's the way that works, Laz. My opinion, anyways, from what I've been told and what I understand. I don't know everything. Sometimes I don't know anything, but I think I have a good concept of that. Casey Setlick says, I think if you go for an offensive guy, you got to give Fangio, Rivera, Flores a look. But also, man, in the office, we need an advisor like Pete Carroll or Singletary. Listen, Pete Carroll is an advisor for Seattle, and that's why they did well while he was gone. I really think that what he built there has stood the test of time. I get it. I agree with Singletary also, man. Good friend of ours and friend of the show. We've done things with him, and great guy, man. I agree. I'd like to see Singletary or Carroll. I like to see Carroll as a head coach potentially. Let's see what happens. It shakes out. You know what I mean? Food and Travel says, I feel the Bears are only about 3 to 4 pieces away from having a competitive team. I do too, but I also feel like we need more leadership in the players. The players got to play harder and better, and we need good leaders of men. We need good coaching. We need good leadership, as far as assistants, coordinators, all that. We've got to get better there for sure. Yes, I'll look at DC. I agree. Would love Fangio back. So the only way Fangio would work, like I was saying earlier, guys, he is a defensive coordinator for the Eagles. He's doing great over there. If he got paid more, circled back to Chicago Bears, and he was assistant head coach, that would help elevate him and get a better look, and it will look good on his resume and pay him more. So that's how that would work out. So that's why a lot of these comments make sense. You could make that happen. It's not impossible. So our trenches on both sides of the ball need to be worked on first. I agree, James Childers. They need to. It all starts in the trenches. That position is looked at very listen, everybody else that needs to do their job, the offensive line and defensive line has to do their job. It starts from the inside and builds its way out. I agree. Rivera is not Harbaugh. Please, nobody said that Rivera was Harbaugh. And Harbaugh is not Rivera. Rivera is not Harbaugh. The whole point of this is that they were former Bears players. In order to know what being a Bear is when, times were good, and leadership and all of that, nobody's saying that. Lot of the negativity with you, Leonidas. I hope you get that hug today or whatever it is that you need, man. I hope you find what you need in today to get through it. Please get through today and have a great day, man. Caleb playing and winning in Lambeau Field is big for his confidence. Yeah, I think it's really big. And the fact that he is a fan of the Green Bay Packers, he's always looked at them. And, Rodgers is one of the guys that he looks at. That's one of his mentors. That's who he looks up to, and Brady. Both of those guys are freaking quarterback whisperers to him, and he leans on them heavily for his development. And so in terms of winning there, that was big on, talk about getting confidence at the right time at the end of the season. And he said at the end of it all, we've got to do better, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, for the new year, this is a lot of many firsts for us. So we ended up on a high note. And that's why you needed Caleb to play that game. And shame on anybody that thought he shouldn't have played that game, including myself. I really thought that it would have been a good time to bench him to keep him healthy and all of that, and I was wrong. I see exactly why. And the only reason why is because for other players on our team, like a Brisker, but he's already got a concussion protocol and there's, huge issues right there outside of football. I hope that, he's healthy in the grand scheme of things. And that's what I was potentially trying to avoid with Caleb was the safety, not for him to play and, and all that kind of stuff. It wasn't on that. It's a total different situation, Situations are situational. So, all right, Leonidas, I'm just gonna skip on your comments for now because it's been a show. At Food, he agrees. If Poles is a good GM, he should be able to fix most of the holes with the amount of free agency money that they have in picks. Cornelius Wolfgang, as a Bears fan, I think the Raiders got him on lock, sadly. Who do they think the Raiders got on lock? So you talking about Ben Johnson? Who's he talking about? Oh, he's talking about Ben Johnson. Yeah, you know what? It's possible. I think we all got him on lock, honestly, but I don't think that's a good situation for him to come into. It's a nice warm area, blah blah blah. There's good things. Brady's, a big part of it and all of that, but they don't have a quarterback. There's a lot of stuff that they need fixed. If he needs anything, he needs a team that's ready to go. And he's already spoke very highly of Caleb. I think there's a lot of pieces here. I'm not saying that you're wrong, Cornelius. I'm just saying that there's the other side of things. And I think we have, you look at in terms of how you could be a good head coach, a lot of it has to do with who's on the team. And I think we've got a lot better roster than the Raiders. But I can see your point, though. And Christopher Blaker says he's shout out to Chris, man. Thanks for joining the show, buddy. Appreciate you, man. Love you. Thank you. He says he's leaning towards Rivera. Amp says he likes Ben Johnson or Todd Monken. Yeah, I like Todd. He's really gaining some traction, especially, hey man, he advanced, They beat the brakes off of freaking, Tomlin and the Steelers. And that was an interdivisional playoff game. That was huge. That was really huge. I like what he's doing. Really like what he's doing. And in terms of I don't think he's a 1B. Like I wouldn't put him in the same class as Ben Johnson, but he's definitely more seasoned because he's been in life longer and he's been around. And I don't know where I would put him with Ben Johnson. I just think Ben Johnson's the front runner. I think he's a first round draft pick in terms of coaching, but I definitely am starting to see more of the Monken for sure. A lot of people are doing that, not just one or two people, a lot of people, including Amp. So yeah, man, this is really breaking my heart because honestly, the drama has got to stop, man. I don't have any room for that. I don't have any room for that energy. If it means that we have a smaller community, to me, it's more about quality than quantity. And I really want us to all get along and have a good time, okay? We have enough outside forces, not just in life, but in Chicago as a sport, as a city. Come on, man. Let's have one spot where we can all get together and enjoy and embrace the differences in each other. We all don't have to color yellow on the same page. We all can bring a different crayon and make the whole picture a lot better. Okay. So please don't eat your crayons and be negative. Okay. Crayons are not to be eaten. They're to be colored with. We aren't getting Ben Johnson, sadly. Oh, okay. Hey, man, I don't think that's a negative comment. I think that there is definitely a reason why somebody could say that for sure. That's an opinion. I just wanted to say that I'd like our team to let it fly and annihilate Green Bay, win the playoffs and win the division and make the playoffs. Hell yeah. I'm on board with that, James. For sure. If Ben Johnson, he likes Ben Johnson, but he uses a lot of screen passes. But he knows how to use them the right way, I feel. And you also need the right person like we were looking at some of the screen passes that they were doing, and they looked really good. When I was with Jim Miller, like we were looking at the way Green Bay was using screen passes, not the Lions, but when they were doing some screen passes on us, and it basically it calms down the rush. When you have a pass rush, when you're bringing the dogs, you do a screen pass, right? And it's a little ripple. You can't do the same passes all the time. You got to switch it up. There is a place for passes in the NFL, but your guys have to block, and they do that. They do that well. Teams do that well, and I think that's what. And I'm hoping some sort of offensive line coach from Detroit comes with Ben Johnson. That would be fantastic, because that's what is important in terms of screen passing. You have to block, man. It's very important. Head on a swivel. Let's go. Amp says, I like Ben Johnson. So here's the last part of it said. He wonders how many fans would quickly abandon if he struggles. I think early, if he struggles, you'll see that, because a lot of us are wanting to win now. We've lost for so long that we don't have a lot of patience. So I think that there might be some of that, honestly, and I don't think that it would be his fault for that. It's just the way, it's like Caleb said it. He goes, the fans' frustration has been here longer than I have. They've been frustrated for a long time. So he gets that. He understands that. But he also has to do better. So in terms of that, Ben Johnson would have to do better and coach better, and then things would change, right? Winning cures everything. Amp also says, I personally think there's a lot of good coaching options. Johnson, Vrabel, Monken, and Glenn. Bears have a good chance of landing above average coach. I have some faith for next year. I wouldn't mind seeing Glenn. I like the fact that he's a former player. I know that he's very spirited, and I know some people don't like the fact that he's a defensive, coach and a former defensive player. But I think if he can be a leader of men and bring in a good defensive coordinator to help him out and have a good plan in place, I'd like to hear what his plan in place is for the offense. But he's been around a very smart offensive mind, so he knows how important and how good that is. He's not just a guy that was like, oh, defense first. He's seen both of it. He's seen the yin and the yang, so he understands that, when his defense wasn't defensing, his offensive coordinator freaking put up some crazy freaking points to help bail him out, man. He gets it. So I have faith that the Bears will find someone who will lead and take command of the locker room. Yeah, I do too, man. I think they'll get it right. They have to get it right. What up, Plank? Bear down, buddy. I'm going to get to you in a second, man. Yeah, I like Flores. Like Flores did when he left Miami to Minnesota. Yeah, I mean, he is doing good right now in Minnesota for sure. Plank says, bear down. Bear down, buddy. Love you, man. Luis Velez. Hey, Lewis, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, smash that notification bell. Thank you for commenting already. I appreciate you, man. I like that background picture for sure. What up, Bear Down from Puerto Rico? Puerto Rico in the building. Shout out to Puerto Rico. Hope the Bears get this right. I almost got my ass beat from a guy from Puerto Rico that was on the Navy ship with me in the Middle East because he had a tattoo and I was complimenting his tattoo. And we were stationed in Texas, but we were a rotational crew in the Middle East. So I go over to him and I tell him, if you give me enough time, I'll remember his name. But so I said, hey, man, I like your Texas tattoo, your flag. That's awesome, man. You're a proud Texan. And he started chasing me across the mess decks. He wanted to beat my butt because that was a Puerto Rican flag that was tattooed on his arm, and I learned to respect that guy really fast. Big dude, Guzman or Guzman. Sorry, my last name is Hyatt. It's not as fancy as his. So sorry if I didn't say that right, but I think it's Guzman or Guzman. But it's good engine mechanic down in the Navy ship. Amp is giving a shout out to Plank. Black Rain's in the building. What up, Black Rain? Thanks for coming, man. Appreciate you, even if you're late. Thanks for coming in, buddy. How much do you think Trey Smith will want? I think Kansas City will tag him. I would if I was them. I'm not sure if they have enough money to tag him or if they have a succession plan with somebody underneath them that can come up and play. I know they do this a lot to Patrick Mahomes, and they try to make chicken salad out of chicken shit, and it actually ends up being chicken salad, which is crazy that they make that work. But we try to do the same thing, and it stays chicken shit. But yeah, and then maybe even draft. They might even draft somebody, or they'll keep them. But I'd like to see Trey for sure. And there's a proven, if you know what you're looking at and you get the right guy and you got the right coaches in place, you can have a guy late in the draft at any position, but most notably, we're talking about offensive line, play well. Amp says, good morning, bear down. Or Plank says, good morning, bear down. Plank says, trenches, trenches, trenches. I knew Plank was going to say that. What up, Trent? Plank, love you, brother. I almost called you trenches. What up, trenches? Am says, Black Rain, I'm with you. Would love Trey Smith, but I don't think Kansas City lets him walk. I don't either, but guys, I do think that it's a possibility. You have to look at cap space and where all the needs are at and everything. You know what I mean? So we'll see. Jim didn't look so good yesterday. Everyone I saw had Chargers blowing out Houston. Yeah, he didn't look so good. No, he did not look so good. And they've got a long ways to go. And I think they definitely exceeded expectations for sure. I think that was a good first year with the Chargers, and I don't think anyone's disappointed. It's a tough outcome, but they're going to get better for sure. As D Nice Darius says, as head coaches, Ron and Jim have been the same amount of Super Bowls. Yeah, that's true. Good point, Darius. Plank says, Black Rain, bear down. Black Rain says, what up, Plank? I love this. This is the part that I like, Plank says, Darius Lockhart, bear down, D Nice. D Nice says, what up, Plank? Squeegee, bear down, brother. I gave D Nice a break. He probably would have came on for me, but that man has been freaking saving Atlanta. The guy's he works for they're in a state of emergency with that snow. They're not used to it. When it hits, the air traffic is just insane, and he's doing the Lord's work over there. He's been at work for like 2-3 days, so. But the guy needs his sleep. I'm not even sure where he's at with his sleep schedule, if he even has one. Jason Servin, make sure you hit that subscribe button, man. Thanks for coming in here, and I appreciate your comment already, man. That's great. I, for one, don't want Ben. Appreciate that comment, man. I mean, that's a great opinion. We appreciate your opinion. He probably doesn't want him because he doesn't want to have another, situation where we're having a prove it year where he has to prove it, where he's a first time head coach. Like, he's seen where we've already done that before and it doesn't work out, which I could see that side of that. And I'm not putting words in Jason's mouth. I'm just thinking hypothetically. Plank, bear down, bro. Darius says, if these coaches are real with themselves from a football perspective, they know the Bears is the best job available. I agree, man. Oh my gosh, Wreck-It Ralph. Such a great name. I love that show. That was a good show for the kids, for my kids, and for me, obviously. Send Pittsburgh a third rounder for Mike Tomlin. Wreck-It Ralph, I'd give him 2 third rounders. We got 2 third rounders this year. Give them both. As long as Ian Cunningham gets traded, why not? Give them 2 thirds or swap thirds. Like, we got a better third, take their third, give them our third, and then keep the compensation pick. You know what I mean? Something like that, or give him a late round pick. I don't know. I would move a lot for Tomlin for sure. Love that guy. Great comment, man. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Wreck It Ralph, first time viewer, appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for joining the show. Love all these new followers. This is great. James Childress, bear down. Too many good head coaches available to trade for one. There's the other part of that too. Darius Lockhart, 100. Leonardus, you are still beating the drum of saying no to everything, right? Yep. All right. Jason says, Vrabel, even though it appears he will take the New England job, Carroll, Rivera, or Munkin. So he wants Vrabel first, even though he appears that he will take the New England job. He would like Vrabel. Then he would like Carroll, Pete Carroll, or Ron Rivera, or Munkin, finally. I like that. I like that list. It's a good, solid list, man. Mike Tomlin to the Bears would be comparable to Andy Reid to Kansas City. Hey, man, a lot of people in Philly did not see Andy Reid moving, did he? He did really good in Philly, and then he did really good in Kansas City. I mean, make it make sense. Like, you cannot say that things won't happen, you know? Never say never, because never always happens. Leave room. Skipping on that one. Straight down to Plank. Luis Velez, bear down. Listen, we got a Lion fan in the building. Thank you, One Funky. We appreciate you, buddy. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. This is a safe space for everybody in the NFC North, even the Packers. Hey, just so you guys know, Ben Johnson doesn't put his shopping cart back and leave it in handicap parking spots. He also kicks puppies, so you definitely don't want him. He's doing exactly what my neighbor and friend Greg Braggs does. He talks bad about somebody, so we don't want him. I like that. Yeah, he wants to keep Ben Johnson. That's how good he is. Appreciate you, man. Hey, congratulations, man. You were there for a long time, I would imagine, as a Lion fan, and you guys finally on the come up, man. I'm happy for you guys, man. I hope we can get some of that with the Bears. You know what I mean? All love, no hate, buddy. Plank loves it. The Chargers O line looked a lot like the Bears O line. Yeah, that's rough. I bet you. I wonder if they wish they would have had that lineman that they traded or just released and we picked up. You know, James Childers. Special shout out to James, man. He's one of our new staff members on Chicago Sports Podcast on Facebook. He's helping us with everything as far as moderation and helping keep content out there, posting new things and keeping a lot of some of our guys are so busy in life that they don't have the time to help feed and keep the Chicago Sports Podcast Facebook live and hopping, and we try to get as many people on there. And James has been a longtime follower and listener and supporter of us, and he wanted to answer the bell and help us out. So shout out to James, man. Thank you, man. Thank you for answering the bell. Appreciate you, man. Anybody else interested, message me on Facebook or email me, Brandon Hyatt at gmail.com. That's Brandon, BRANDON HIATT at gmail.com. Amps, or even if you want to be a co-host. Amp says definitely was one of the more crazy years of his lifetime. The large amount of close games gives me hope for next year if they get good coaching. Amp, oh man, preach, brother. That just goes to show you don't have to hold church. You don't have to be in a building to hold church. Amp is freaking definitely delivered us some good news right now. Can I get an amen? I agree, man. Res One Do Beast. Hey, make sure you hit that subscribe button, man. I like your little picture there in your YouTube profile. I want him more now. Nathan Trefant, you think Gruden is going to take over as a head coach somewhere. Hey, Nathan, I think he was a good coach. I mean, he had a rough time in Raiders trying to figure it out. I also think he pretty much ended up in a really good situation in Tampa, and I think that's what the next head coach might be walking themselves into here in Chicago. So I think there is an opportunity for him to be a head coach somewhere. There's only 6 teams that need a head coach right now, so I think he may not get one. So, but that doesn't mean that never can never happen. I think it could happen for sure. Let's see what happens, man. Um, so one funky says born and raised and been a fan since Billy Sims. Wow. Okay. So listen, my grandfather migrated from Poland in 1956 around Pontiac, Michigan, near Detroit area and all that. Owned Wysocki Funeral Home and asked me if I wanted. I said no. He says, well, your next best option is to join the military. I quickly did that. He said, why? I said, I'm really not a fan of hanging out with dead bodies. He told me it was the live ones that I have to worry about. But I joined the Navy instead because my great grandfather had some of the most compelling stories. And when I was in like the 3rd grade or something, they asked us to do a speech or of our hero, and I had my grandpa record a tape for me on a cassette tape, and everybody listened to it. And I told him who my hero is. Everybody had different heroes, a lot of sports players and stuff like that, or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, all this crazy, but not me. I was my grandpa, and I said everybody's going to listen and pay attention. I didn't even hear a pen drop in my classroom, and I said after we're done, we're all going to stand up. We're going to cross our hand over our heart, and we're going to salute the flag and do the Pledge of Allegiance. And everybody did it. I think that was my first podcast, guys. I love my grandfather. He had the best stories about Pearl Harbor. Loving guy. So good. Love that dude. But anyways, like I said, my other grandpa, he was what do you call it? He was a Lions fan, man, and Barry Sanders was his favorite. He couldn't stand that Scott Mitchell. He liked Herman Moore. He liked Barry Sanders. He said Barry South, Barry West, Barry East, and then Barry North. Third and forever touchdown. Love that guy. He loved that guy. Yeah, man. Shout out, man. I wish he was alive so you could see what you're seeing, man. That'd be great. So happy for the Lions and the Vikings too, man. I mean, the Vikings. How could you not like what they're doing, man? I was wrong. I was wrong about that one. I thought they'd be at the bottom of the North, and we would be right up there vying for a wild card with the Packers. So, and the only one that's not in it is us. So, Black Rain says a guy I respect is Hub Arkish. Said it doesn't matter if the new coach is a defensive guy. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people are saying that, Black Rain. I agree. I agree with Hub Arkish for sure. I agree with you too if you agree with that. Plank says one funky Lions fan, hardcore. That's what it's all about. The real Dubes. Doobie, make sure you hit that subscribe button, man. Make sure you hit that notification, smash that notification bell. Thank you for the comment. Appreciate you, man. And Doob says, is this too much for Caleb? Is he ruined by the amount of systems he's already been exposed to? Listen, those are systems, but they're the same system within themselves, if that makes any sense. I think I said the word system way too much, but I think I'm overloading the system. But no, I really believe it's from the same system. It's just different wrinkles of it. And I think Caleb, as far as players go, listen, by the end of your year, look at a guy like Jim Miller. He's been through, like, he was on 10 different teams or something like that. And I talked to him about that, and he's like, no, a player is always going to play. They're always going to be good. And something like that, if they're ruined, it was something else. It's not because they have to learn a new system. It just takes longer, from going from point A to point B, they have to go all the way around the block to get to B. Whereas if it's just one linear line, it's just A to B, it's quicker. It just takes longer. I don't think a guy like that you're going to ruin. But a good question, Dubes. Appreciate it, man. Vikings weren't supposed to be there. No. Super Bears. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I appreciate you, Super Bears. And that is an interesting profile picture, too. Just found you on YouTube. Good show. Just subscribe. Thank you. Brand new subscriber, man. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for the love, man. Yep. Hit that like button. and hit that notification bell. That way you see all our stuff that comes off. We're going to probably have 2 other shows later on, maybe one around lunchtime. We'll talk about all the rookies in the NFL this year and what we could potentially bring in or look at this year and say how we could have done better, and are we going to look at some of those players in the NFL. So we will cover all 32 teams. We'll unpack those NFL rookie players, the ones that did the best this year, and then we'll, traverse it back over to Chicago Bears. So we can get a little bit of everything. That's what I like to do, man. I try to broaden us a little bit. If you guys don't mind, I like the NFL. Hey, man, we can talk about the Bears and all of that, but the NFL is still going on around us. You know what I mean, guys? We can't get away from it. So, Plank says, Super Bears, welcome and bear down. Dubes says, Eberflus, I hope you don't mind me, Mr. The real Dubes, if I just call you Dubes, if that's cool. You can call me Trax. Eberflus, I feel like didn't deserve the shot to coach a talent like that. Yeah, you know what? You've definitely, I believe you. What you said makes sense. Preach, Dubes. Nathan Trefalt, and not Trefont. It says Brock Bowers is his GOAT. Oh my gosh, I had him on my freaking fantasy. Did anybody have Brock Bowers on the fantasy? He made me look like a genius. And I was just like, dude, I'm going to get that stud from Georgia, that tight end from Georgia. And he made me look like a genius. Like, he carried my team a lot of times. He had more points than anybody on my team. Like, he was like legit it. And listen, how about shout out to Ditka? Oh my God, he finally broke the record that Ditka had, but Ditka still has like 3 times as many touchdowns. While, and nothing to take away from Brock Bowers, but we can't take away from what Ditka did. Ditka had 12 touchdowns to freaking Brock Bowers 4. So he broke Ditka's yards, but Ditka still had the touchdowns. It's amazing, man. So listen, James Childers says, welcome aboard, Super Bear, bear down. And one funky Lions fan says, if you guys want to snag a coach from the Lions, you should snag Hank Fraley. The guy is a huge part of what makes things click on offense. What a part is, so can you tell us a little bit, really quickly, Hank Fraley, what part in the offense that he plays? What position? What positional coach is he on the offense, if you didn't mind telling us? Because if we do get Ben, that would be great for him to come with. We need some of that for sure. Dubes is completely fine, by the way. Thank you, Mr. Dubes. The real Dubes says, I'm a Vikings fan, but I do love our NFC North. We always get dogged on from all angles. One of my good friends at work is a Bears fan, and I just want a good season for him, man. Dude, I want a good season for you too, man. I do want a good season for you guys. Broke my heart back in the day when you guys were going up against Atlanta Falcons and you couldn't advance. You guys have had a lot of good teams, a lot of good talent. Moss was back during the day. Culpepper, almost said Culpepper. Culpepper. Sorry, no pun intended, dude. Seriously, I just track style, getting off track. No, that running back Smith, I think it was, from Ohio State. You guys had a lot of good talent, man. A lot of good talent over there. Defensive players, studs, war paint. Love those guys, man. Good to A, man. What about the horn? Oh, man, the horn. You guys are awesome. You guys are rocking it over there. Yeah, let's go. But, hey, make no mistake about it. When it's time for you guys to play us, I'm telling you right now, as God is my witness, it's Bears versus anyone, but you guys will probably win. Hopefully that we can turn it around. You know what I mean? I think we got some good pieces in the building. We'll see. What about Sam Darnold? Oh my goodness. Whoever freaking helped Sam Darnold return to greatness, that guy deserves a freaking huge pay raise. One Funky says, O-line coach, and the O-line does so much for this team. Oh, yeah. Let's get that O-line coach. Let's give him assistant offensive coordinator assistant, give him assistant offensive coordinator and give him a raise and bring him in so he can be our O-line coach for sure. He does do a lot, but it does help that you guys have 3 first-round draft pick freaking, a left tackle, a right tackle, and a center. I mean, 3 first rounders. That's important. There's value there. But yeah, good coach for sure. Let's go get that guy. Dube says, I was 12 watching the field goal miss, then 41 rip versus. Yep. The last time, dude says, last time I went to Chi-Town for a game, your fans loaded my seat with snow. Good dudes. That's funny. That's hilarious. I'm sure it was all in fun, right? So, anyways, man, hey, everybody, thanks for joining the show. If you guys don't mind circling back and after the show is over, like the comments are gone. This is just live chat. But if you go over there and comment in YouTube land, that'd be great. Really helps us bring more people in and keeps us active. I appreciate you guys. Hey, let's all be great today. Let's have a good Sunday. Enjoy some football. Let's see who's on deck today. Who is playing today? I need to bring that up for us. Who do we got? Who is on deck? Here we go. We've got the Broncos and the Bills at noon. That's an AFC wild card playoff game. That's CBS and Paramount Plus. And then we got the Packers versus the Eagles, and that's a 3:30 game. Go Eagles, fly for sure. I'm going to be an Eagle fan today at 3:30. My son and my daughter have a birthday party here at the house, so I'm probably not going to catch that. Yeah. And then let's see, the Commanders and Bucks at Bucks, the NFC wild card game. That'll be on NBC and Peacock. And by the way, that Eagles-Packers game, the NFC wildcard playoffs, that's on Fox at 3:30. And then the Buccaneers-Commanders, that's going to be 7 p.m. On NBC, Peacock. And then there's a Monday night game, 1:13. That's the Rams versus the Vikings. Wow. Rams got home field advantage. That's crazy how seeding works, right? You guys dropped because you guys were playing the Lions and lost. So that dropped you from potential first seed to the 5th. So now you're away, right? You're away. But it is actually, they're both away because they're moved to Arizona due to the crazy wildfires. Yeah. So, damn, man. Praying for those people, the poor Rams. I tell you right now, that city needs it. As much as I'm pulling for the Vikings, I won't be mad if the Rams win. You know what I mean? It kind of has that Katrina feel to it when the Saints. But yeah, man. So, anyways, getting back to football. But prayers definitely for everybody in LA. They need it, man. They're losing, total devastation, losing homes, air quality. All of that. That's Monday night, 7 p.m., ESPN, ABC, and ESPN Plus. Plank says, thank you, Tracks. Chat, thank you, Bear Down. Oops. Almost skipped you, James. He's got Philly over Green Bay. I hope that the Eagles stomp on the Fudge Packers and embarrass them. That's what I'm talking about. See? That's what we have here. Like, we still respect Packers fans, but the team is where we have it's all in good fun, right? So Dube says, I have a lot of friends who think this season is a waste if we lose round 1. Honest to God, we weren't supposed to have playoff hopes. Isn't it amazing how quickly things change like that? Like, you just come on, we're 14-3, we deserve you. Come on, no. It's not wasted. It's never wasted. It's awesome you guys are in the playoffs, man. We would love to be in the position. The Bears would love to be in the position you're in right now. 14-3, are you kidding me? Oh, my goodness. That means everything went right. Amp says, hopefully the Eagles get a blowout win today. FGB. Wink. Plank says, Amp. All right, guys. So, anyways, like I said, once again, FGB. If you like it, once again, I'll reiterate what I said before. If you, I want to keep continuing to hear your hot takes, your predictions, and your thoughts on these potential hires. Make sure you comment in the YouTube after the show, man. Should we be looking at someone else entirely? Like and subscribe, please. If you love this content of in-depth NFL chat, make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and hit the notification bell for more content just like this. If you know someone who's as passionate about NFL coaching changes as we are, share this video with them, please, man. Share it on your Facebook, wherever you got, Instagram. Thank you for joining me on this marathon session of NFL coaching predictions. This offseason is going to be wild. And here at Tracks, Coffee with Tracks, we're here to keep you all caffeinated with all the latest and greatest in Chicago sports and beyond. Until next time, keep the love for football burning bright, and let's hope our predictions come true. Goodbye, everyone. Love you guys. Oh, we got one more guy. We got a brand new guy here, so I'm going to go ahead and close it out that way. Thank you for coming. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We appreciate you. Shift the culture. He says, what's your thoughts on Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders? I think the future is bright there. I think it's amazing. I love what they're doing. They're looking good, man. All things are pointed north for Washington, man. They definitely exceeded my expectations. Hey, here's a good question. Who exceeded your expectations more? The Vikings or the Commanders? Whoa. And that's why the strength of schedule sometimes is like, look at the Niners. 6 wins. Who would have thought the Niners would have 6 wins? Who would have thought the Commanders would be in the playoffs? Who would have thought the Vikings would be in the playoffs? Sometimes the math ain't math when it comes to strength of schedule and all that kind of stuff. I know you play it, man. Seriously. But, yep. FTP, FTB, and FTV. One pride. Love it, love it, love it. Everyone was having fun, chatting. Have a blessed day. If you could have picked Caleb Williams or Jaden, I'd pick Caleb over again. There's no way he can withstand that many sacks. That team is completely different. The culture's different. The coaching is different. It's just not an apples to apples comparison. Jaden would have struggled. Anyone would have struggled just as much, and especially a pocket quarterback would have had a hell of a hard time there. It was a lot of dysfunction, a lot of discord. It's just, Jaden is in a good spot. I think Caleb's in a good spot. We love Caleb. Caleb all day, baby. Have a good time, man. And make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Shift the culture. Thanks for commenting with us. Love you guys. Have a good football Sunday. Peace.